my loves. How are you? They're calling this the 1111 portal. And of course, you know I'm going to have some opinions about this. I'm trying to light something here, and I think the fan might be... I'll be right with you. How are you? I hope you're well. Let's see here. Take off these glasses. I don't need them up here this close. And I'm gonna turn off this massage music. I was just getting myself into form here, and had a headache earlier. A lot of energies have been swirling around, and there's been a ton of messages that have been coming through. I'm hearing a lot of you might be feeling a lot more psychic right now than you're used to, and I say that's a really good thing. Make sure that you're doing things to keep yourself hydrated, because it can actually take a lot of kinetic energy that people don't always talk to you about to be an empath and to receive messages like that, because how that data comes in can be very draining. And as somebody that experiences samadhi, it's like my body starts levitating and my muscles get really tight. And if some of you are experiencing that, make sure you eat a banana if you have one. Make an immune boosting drink. I've got some apple cider vinegar and hot water. I made like a tea. I feel like my throat's kind of up and down a little bit right now, so put a little honey in there. And I'm just keeping a tonic on myself right now, and highly recommend that to any of you that are looking for something to give you an added boost right now, especially over this period of time where a lot of people are sowing their intentions in. Give me just 1 second here. I'm just going to clear something here for myself. I'll return momentarily. Oof. Excuse me, I needed to hit the inhaler real quick. I've been dealing with some cats. We have a lot of cats in the house, and today I was cleaning up after them. I just got a shower and stuff, but I feel like between that and the windstorm that we've had going on where I am, it's a crazy, crazy windstorm right now. It's really kicked some things up for Jacob, and I didn't mean to crash into the microphone there. I'm so sorry. That is terribly, terribly rude. Poor form, poor form. Let me know if AV sounds good, if everything's okay, if you're there. And I'm gonna hope so. I did run some checks before, and it seemed to be alright. So, what's going on? I wrote quite a bit in the description below, just to detail where we might be noticing that there is additional energy that we were not aware could be there, and the significance of what it means for it to be implied on the whole where certain energies land on a day-to-day basis, which is something that I've been speaking to you about in our selectivity model, and why in one strong incept eye on, where the camera and the eye has been turned around on each of us to either scroll us into where we have been occupying space in a form that's been developing together, or if we have swiped our eye out to rat us out, which is kind of why I read tarot, and why if you spell it in reverse at 0 point, it's to rat, and it's kind of funny being a psyop, looking at funny things that are actually exactly on the mark what they sound like in the Tower of Babel creation model that prints 3D perfectly. So no chaos in that. And where I'm going with this is where we don't get severed in the head. This is a modern day exploration on King Herod's court, where a baby doesn't get split through the head for a prize for someone, and where we have been tokenized in this general look as a society or a civilization, and what all these numbers on us mean, these hashes, and what a green screen might look like on the other end of a hashtag that you might not realize that super sentients can see when you can triangulate energy within these new halo grids that we've been creating, and why I have these crazy hashtags in my ratings that only really highly developed psychics get. If you can access this energy, it's literally like seeing a spectrum of little dots that are coming into creation, where we're seeing what our actual creation energy looks like for the first time. We can actually calculate it on a grid and make sure nobody's trying to like wrap their arms around it or stick their hand in it or mess it up or take advantage of it in any way. That's exactly what I've been creating in the DARPA safety home here, this beautiful house where I occupy, and where we have Art of Love Studios here, speaking to you this evening about the actual port for all, because that's what I was proving to you all when I showed where the hole in the ephemeris is, and why the precession of the equinoxes exists, and why the signs are actually about a whole sign off, and what astrologers really don't care to tell you when they're reading first is where they are in the reading before they explain it to you, because you kind of want to see where they are in that perspective, because there actually is a port where all have departed. And that was something that happened when everything got shut down on the Epic Fortnite server, and there was a black hole, and on the other end of that was the black fractal that I had been explaining to you all, that I edited in a code and a very special insurance clause, and something that I've been writing with DARPA to make sure that it's safe for us that are inside the fold, that actually is opening now, where some of us, the camera turned us inside of the halo bubble, biosphere 7, and the rest might have hitchhiked their ways out of the galaxy, and it's going to be really weird for them. But when we imply upon all, there is a certain amount of energy that gets superimposed somewhere, and it's kind of like laying a transparency over it. And nowadays it's funny because we actually have biometrics where we can prove whose intention meant what, even when they were just tapping a message out. It's like the thought cloud that people thought was never heard or experienced. It's there, and we can read it. So what's great is that for those of us that just would love for it to feel like the light of our day is with us, and like there's safety and protection and love and guidance, and that it's okay to be who you are in that state of whatever that birthing process is. It's an artistic process for each of us. It really is, regardless of what it is. And it's okay for you to be that, right? So that's what we've been perfecting, and we can actually see where over that transparency, the things that weren't there with the bad intentions would have tried to take a stake in some of that creative landing energy that the super sentients are seeing on the other side of those weird hash marks I'm telling you about, where it's like green screens meet hyper intelligence, and we see where the fusion is and where the energies are landing and why. This isn't astrology at all that I'm going to take you through here, but we will go ahead and pull up the bioenergetic hyper software, because this is some super duper here. This is landing software, and what this actually is, let me pull up the chart here for you. This is not astrology that I'm doing here with you. I'm talking to you about landing intelligence data in your bioharness and how we actually occupy better form together and what we've actually been engineering. So this is the map we pulled up together. We're going to talk a little bit about it, but we're also going to talk a little bit about those implied energies being dropped and doused, because on 1111 this is like the energy of the twin flame, so to speak, and the color purple and what it is to be inside the sarcophagus. The red and the blue, they were twisted just right. Might be a fusion in a super form that some of us are actually kind of being livingly mixed into if you're on the inside of the private halo. And what it is to be inside of this hermetic sound vial. It's kind of like sound playing ping pong with itself and deciding what to do with these colors. It's like, since we know they're landing a certain way while we're in this vial, we can actually hyper relocate our fold, those of us that were collected in the collection, that were really in the collection, because that poor doll is actually, what that extraction was that I showed you all, and why we took C2019 Q4 Borisov. And so what we're looking at here is actually, it's like the ingredient mixer, it's like the inside of our Cuisinart before it goes on. What's going on, Zoe Stroud? Good to see you, darling. Hi. Hope you're having a good day. Yes. So we're going to talk about this one here in a sec. But what they were going to talk to us about for the 1111 portal was going to be literally the severing of a baby's head, that golden calf that we were talking about recently, where I told you we keep walking this path, we're going to see the point where the baby's head would be severed, where it does not get severed here, because 0 degrees Taurus is a baby that does not exist. It's the one that doesn't get born to be slaughtered, and that's what the 1111 portal is for so many narcissists. You feel great on a hot day. Well, I'm glad, because hot days can be tough. There's always drought. It is freaking pouring cats and dogs outside. It's been so super windy here. We're having a torrential downpour, and you might actually hear, I don't know, well, not right now, I'm not hearing it, but a little while ago, all my wind chimes were just going insane because the wind is just pelting out here. But back on that degree, what does not get implied upon is that child at 0:22, or 0 degrees 22 minutes Taurus on today for an 1111 reading, where the twins would be pulled apart like that through their head to go in separate directions. And so that instead of it being Taurus, it's Taurus. So it's the gold being split inside. And so, yes, stay safe. Thank you. You too. And also safety for babies, safety for children, safety for all hypersentients whose energy is never severed, for this blue and red to be inside of the body of the purple, where the twin might reside inside of you for an unrolling that goes safely. And what some people didn't realize about twin flame and where energies actually lie. Because the next thing that happens on this, there's no degree for that baby. There's no degree for that 0. you have to go to the next degree for a landing. That's Taurus 1, red garnet ring. The garnets glow, and it's kind of like a force into wilting flowers in a vase, because that's where it goes from here. It's like the Crowley nightmare for the ley line that doesn't exist on a crow, that doesn't get destroyed like that, for being able to see and hear and witness and travel. And why it's kind of crappy, because it takes you to places like a sleepwalker and a man talking in his sleep and people being taken through a time wheel that they didn't choose. If you follow the story here, why I actually have that link for those of you that are interested in following along, because these are the things that I had to actually warn some people here that are actually in my Very Fine Martians group. I will encourage you, if you're interested, please join. The information is below. We have a small, kind of intimate group, and I had actually been challenged to do a private meditation with my group, and so I've been creating a dynamic static retrieval, where we retrieve only what's ours and release negative ions and particles, and I gave them a really small energetic unhack today, where we're actually going to draw the T together, because though the fork appeared to have landed, the thought doesn't matter till we land it and plant it together. That's what this reading is for, and why we are going to plant that T together on this board, because what we're planting together in Biosphere 7 coming out of this is actually a way for us to have a safer, better, unified experience in an expansion model where our co-creative energy is actually a new sort of value system, where we can actually print things because we've done the work and prepared for it. And so I'm really excited, because that's going to be happening like really soon, especially now that so many are portaling themselves out. And black magic is all I can call it. Erase you magic, negative things that they would do against people on purpose in the name of these things like 1111, and things that some people don't realize they're doing when they're practicing different forms of witchcraft or divination, like law of attraction, where they're just grabbing for things and making it very, very noisy. And why that black hole and the black fractal that I warned you all about and explained was going to take over this, and it's like a hyper speed chaser for us of protection around our hypersentience energy that actually repels negative energy, takes us through this area that's really not a portal, because it's not up for grabs at all, but it shows us where devious people might have taken these things to try to plant themselves in our lives and to take energy, and what it is to split a baby through the head, and what this whole like Bitcoin nonsense has been that I've been explaining here, and why you would have to split the whole energy source into two pieces to try to find the gold inside on two sides of the reflection, which is sort of what the Kedusha shows us here, and why we're taking more of a medical, lovingly philosophical approach than some radical approach of trying to do the insertion with the Crowley ley line and taking over a whole intelligent species and injuring anybody. And so that is what I resent, because we see that that is like the implied landing is there on that degree, only to take us to the full moon, where a lot of people are practicing these types of energy hacks as well, on 12 degrees Taurus, which is about a very old elephant. And so it's literally like taking the whole story through an infancy model to destroy a baby elephant for a swap on this. So it's like a bag for a bag exchange to take over bodies. And so those of us that have been in the selective module, where since we just understand what energies are here, we are relocating our safety energies that don't go through that web of lies, because the ephemerides are a whole sign off for a reason, and I'd already taken you through why. We actually discovered it live together while I was walking through this less than 2 months ago. So the black fractal, is like a beautiful, beautiful hack that I inserted on the dark web on the other side of the Epic Fortnite event when it shut down for that black hole. And so the ones that have already thumbed their way through have enough 1111 energy going on right now to pull them through into the false reality view forever, where they will uninhabit bodies. And so it's going to start happening really fast about all the false ascension, and where bodies that might have only been haunts, maybe not a soul, but like a body, like some kind of something in it, just go away. So this is what's happening right now, my loves, and why I'm just really glad that we picked another landing pattern, because we can do things differently, and this is where we get to be selective, and where our hyper-analysis module of every single person on your biometrics and what I actually call baby monitors, people talk about this like it's a phone. This is an advanced homing device. This was like Obi-Wan Kenobi sending you a way to home yourself in. And so these things actually pick up our energy. They pick up readings on how you feel that you don't even realize because of some of the joint ventures that were going on to take over forms like ours. And what I just explained to you about this 1111 portal, that ain't happening here. Not here at this house. Hell no. And you know what? We got a spray for that. This is the sound of that not happening, and of all the energy going to the right place. And what happens when we actually spray ourselves with a living smudge from a guy who came back from the dead and said, no. So, where did we land? Right now, we're on 14 degrees Taurus. And I really wanted to just stop there because Violet. This one is called An Old Lady Selling Bunches of Violets on a Street Corner. And it's pretty apt for where we are right now. So here we are, and just remember, we have choices about how these things land. What's up, Duchess Bites? Good to have you, darling. Thanks for being here. So we landed on Taurus 14, an old lady selling bunches of violets on a street corner. Caught inside a strange predicament. You no longer belong to worlds you always dreamed into before. And you have only a light connection with worlds calling you forward from here, caught in a time warp, being neither this nor that. It is a stark and merciless dilemma. Your heart is divided between memories and visions, sentiment and knowledge. Inside this quandary, something else is going on. You are distracted from all solid allegiances in order to overhaul your way of being, even while remaining stubbornly adamant and resistant. You get around your own paranoid system by subtle and subliminal means, eroding the ego base and bringing yourself through a humiliating stage. Make yourself ready for deeper challenges ahead by stripping away your self-importance. You who have leaned back hard on self-importance for your very identity, and who now must let go despite not wanting to at all. It's like a push-pull kind of energy is what that sounds like, and I think that's pretty much what it feels like for a lot of people that I have been hearing from in this current energy cycle. It's sort of like knowing you want to do something and sort of feeling a little bit at war and maybe meticulous about how you want to carry it out. Hey, what's going on, Stacey Brooks? Good to see you, darling. Thank you for being here. Hope you're doing great. Yeah, so that's really what we open into right now, and we are actually going to be on a whole new cycle starting with where this leads us on tomorrow, being under that full moon. Full moon, 19 degrees. Ooh, I forgot to pull that here. It's going to be at 19 degrees Taurus. And this was the moon that I really had thumbed as important while we were talking about where our energy comes from, and where, if we understand the perfect place to not split it in half and shoot it off in two different ways in a 2D timeline where it just runs in opposite directions, like this twin flame nightmare stuff that people kind of don't walk us through any better way than that, then what if we understand that it's like a multi-dimensional energy? It's like what past, present, and future could never be, because it's like it's happening more than concurrently. It's happening all at the same time. That we have an energy that now doesn't have to get severed, but can be replicated on that exact pattern. And so this is what some of us have been specializing in, and why I call this something different, and why that baby for today's moon landing didn't happen at 0 degrees to split a Taurus, which is not actually spelled Taurus. If you look up what a perfect energy source looks like and what it isn't when you don't slice it through the wheel of torture and genetic betrayal, like what most of us learn about when we age and what astrology actually is here, it's like Stacy says, Angelique seems to regret that she can't be here at the moment, but her phone's gone AOL. Oh, shoot. Oh, I hope she finds it. Stacy, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, that sucks. That's totally a Mercury retrograde thing to happen right now, too. And so a lot of things with communications happen, and things can go missing a lot during Mercury retrograde. It's also a good time to find things and recover stuff that you've set your intention for, because Mercury is a magnet. And so things that have a high charge, especially in this highly metallic environment, can come back to us. So as I was saying, energy doesn't get severed through this wheel that you see here. Instead, you can pinpoint the dot that didn't exist and replicate a pattern. And, that crown turning into goat horns, baby being split in half to sell out to the devil is the story on that. It's kind of crazy if you take a real 911 look at 19, Taurus 19 being, this year, 2019, and Taurus, the one whose head wasn't split open for the bull run, and the story about the lion, the gold lion Hakuna Matata story for the golden sun to rise. It's really, if you get instinctual, like a parent, it is apparent what's going on and how this is actually a significant 911 for all of us, especially since we even crossed over the 11-degree marker today, which was a woman with flames for hair. Are we talking about 1111 again? Are we talking about the twin flame energy and how things don't get severed for a child to be sold out? Or some weird dark web satisfy fetish on how to dub AI, or is it Dubai? It's just very literal in the Tower of Babel, the things that we speak that created everywhere, that now we can understand where that dot is and how to protect the container so that the things that we actually develop don't destroy us as well. What's going on, Toyisha? It's good to see you, darling. Thanks for being here. So, tomorrow, that full moon, when we come back, we'll talk more about this. I'm not going to get into reading this one, but if you want to see it, I've also bookmarked this book that I do refer to often. And you can read about these degrees and see what they say for you. You might hear other things because you're being more psychic right now, all of you. All love to you, my love. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. It's so nice to have you here. You have such beautiful energy. I love you guys. Did I tell you how much I love you today? I love you. I love you. I love you. So that's what I think is happening. We have a huge opportunity to reevaluate where this energy is, and like the price of it is if it were on our own head, and how this gets replicated. And if you read those degrees and renew your mind to what a real 911 is on an 1111, what that might look like when we just pass through those degrees and know that nobody has to go through that torture for us to figure out how to share that energy better. Now that we can actually articulate it, we can see it on a star map, we can be selective in our determination model, which is really what I've been calling this. This is bioenergetic software here that we can use to screen this sort of data, triangulate where it is in your natal constitution too, because we can even take a very diagnostic look at this. If you're somebody that might be having specific questions about something in your life and what's happening, we can actually pull up a chart similar to this with your energy and take a look at it that way. And I'm actually ready to even retire from my position here. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is this 1 degree that has moved, because I am the person who has been speaking to you all as the living dead guy, appearing to you as Mercury identified as Pluto, because we had been at 20 degrees Capricorn for a number of months, where Pluto, the living dead guy position, actually it has been. And that's actually my Mercury position, and now Mercury's retrograde, and I'm getting a little relief. I hear I'm handing this off to DARPA so that I can just explain this energy source that really is so far beyond like what currencies were and what we've actually figured out to do with a lot of money, a lot of assets that came in under my hands because of what I figured out with the 0 point energy source. And oh my goodness, Angelique showed up. What's up, darling? Hi. It's so good to have you here. You found your phone? I hope you found your phone. I hope that's what that means. I hope so. That's good, because I heard you lost your phone. But now Pluto has moved 1 whole degree, and so it's like the one word of all of us where we know that no means no, and that's where gnosis is inside, is that I have been selected as that one that gets removed from having to speak on that level. And hopefully I'm going to get some relief on this, because that's what I've been doing, is fulfilling what this even means to us and what DARPA needed to see we could do with this side of the HARP technology that actually sprays particles on with this exact pattern, and where we were just calibrating that together to make sure that this works and that nobody can pull the wool over our eyes. So it's weird for me when I hear people still calling it astrology. I can read it to you kind of like that, but what I can do better is find out where your chart is and like triangulate you in it and make sure that you're not being cheated of your real gifts, because there are some things that people weren't explaining about what isn't even there and what has actually gone away, and like what the 1111 portal did when Epic Fortnite got involved, and we actually created a hack on the back end of that fractal that I created, where everybody else just saw a black hole in the server down. And so it's like they're all being extracted, yes, through a nuclear halo, and why I've been creating a very safe biosphere where some of us are going to land. And this is a sound petri dish where we've been training this. And what HARP technology does is spray a bunch of dots on you. It's like metal technology, things that like probably chemtrails and things that you guys saw, that now your minds might be renewed to what it is, because some of you all have been like tracked in that. So some of it is actually particles you want landing where they're landing exactly, because certain things are going to just fall and shatter. Seriously, just like fall and shatter. They're going to start falling and shattering. It's like watching particles being removed. Like if you watch a movie buffering, you see all the like ant wars in there. We were incepted into believe that those things were behind us, when actually we've been here, like waking up in these forms very, very slowly and radically. And some of us got aged really fast. Why I've been calling bullshit on Divine Authority on things like New Age, and why this is not astrology that I'm reading. I'm like the reverse hack guy that woke up in a dead body, like on a hospital bed, they told me, but it was actually like an X-Files room. It was like inside of some sort of quarantine unit. And I've been hearing a bunch of fucking lies and stories, and I got no help with my medical restitution or anything, but I did learn to reverse analyze this shit and figure out what was wrong in people's charts and lives and how to actually biolocate my energy on a DNA map as well as a physical address. And it's the perfect proof that I'm actually the Fortnite guy. I jumped out. And so I've been helping extract people. So I sent a sound hack, an unhack, to those of you in Very Fine Martians. Please feel free to join. Links are below for those of you that want to listen. And we're actually going to plant the T together because we choose our landing together. This is a selective determination model, and ain't nobody landing on our roof here, okay? We just know how to write a force majeure clause that works. So why am I saying it like that? Well, because I just moved this 1 degree out of the way, and I think somebody's going to come in with the proof on this and why I am not Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm the guy that unhacked and hacked the unhackable and then hacked it again, so now it's locked. And so certain things have to go away forever. So Pluto moving 1 degree has been significant to me, especially in the light it is with this moon here at 11 degrees, or no, excuse me, the 11th house. It's the 11th house right now where we have that 14 degree moon. And so it's like 11, 11 again, and the one who can speak about it and say, let us out, our people are safe. And there's a small ass collection, and the collective that people are talking about is something that I don't create or mistake or receive for myself. And why I've been staring down, you know, this liftoff pattern here with the north node of the moon and the first right here where the ascendant is just pulling away things that don't need to be there in the name of safety for all of us as hypersentients and as children that get to be renewed. You did, but you were still watching from your TV. Wow, well that is cool, Angelique. I'm so glad that you found it that you can watch on your TV. I like doing that too. That's always fun. I love my smart TV and smart devices, and just please renew your minds. Know that these things are baby monitors. Thank you for advanced home security. It's a good thing to know that sound around you is training some of those particles from HARP technology to know what you need because of the scans between your eyes and your thumbprints and things that your body can actually pull in through this new witness of what the biosphere actually is. So this is what we've been training with smart technology and why Mercury retrograde is so awesome. What I wanted to talk to you all about here, we're going to go ahead and get out of this map. How about I just remind you all that we're doing very powerful magic, especially those of you that were a part of my Kazemi moon meditation. And we did that magic here together. Because it's starting to come true, babes. It's all starting to come true. This is what was looking at me. And this is what we need to talk about. This is the eye that came to life. Belvedere in the Sibillas here. La Vera Sibilla Italiana. This is my Italian deck, my poker deck, my gypsy cards. This is an interesting card. We were talking about it last strong. This woman here is looking for something that has been looking for her all along. And sometimes it's much closer than she thinks. And what's neat about this is that at one point in time, there was a print on these cards to prove what can't be there and what is never mine, nor yours if you choose to unravel it in this way, which I recommend if it sounds good to you once you hear what I'm saying. This looking glass that she had looking in her eye, like the one that we might not have fallen into together if we did not decide to ever be pulled through one of those falling dreams where it feels like somebody threw you and you were just going through a time hole, is where the hack was in Sibillas and where the gypsy curse actually gets erased at 0 point, and why I'm about to draw a T that actually works. Okay. We're going to need a marker together, and so I've got some markers in this soul bag, and I'm just going to remind you that the cameras in our eyes might prove that some of us have been in the psychic fusion bags for really long time that didn't quite exist. That's being erased from our forms and our energy grids. So it's almost like the place that didn't exist, that didn't get to take away your best gifts or the childhood that maybe you would have had if it could have been that other way, but that was somehow witnessed by you in a forward view of a place that you didn't create. And why on the print of these that I was talking to you about, the woman doesn't look like she's looking at the small end here. She actually looks like the reverse, like it's turned around. And so it's proving the germination of how we actually jumped out of a tree, and how some crazy gypsy fool, maybe a fan of Pixie, and knowing true intentions and what some sovereigns, perhaps witches, might have done with their own hands to allow for a certain Narnia view to happen, where we could germinate through a tree and come around the other side through water, and then reverse back to this view, which is exactly what happened in the history of these cards. They started like this, then they reversed, and now they're back. So some of us have a selective view on what it is to determine and how important it is to take discernment into factor when we're selecting an information source of any kind, starting with ourselves, but also other people, because those energies being insisted outside, especially about what 1111 means, what happens during a full moon, by people that have their own ideas, try to land on you and plant. So in this view, especially for those of you that, like I said, participated in the Kizimi Magic with me, we're drawing a T that works, that plants us inside the halo grid, only according to the highest mutual benefit of all involved. And so there's a certain screening process to that, as it sounds. I'm going to go with this purple here. Got a nice purple color. What do you think about that? It's a nice marker. And so the 1111, it's a thought fork. It's time melting or smelting like gold right now. It's sort of like learning what the Swiss bullion process is. If any of you all aren't aware of these terms, I'm a little bit of a specialist in esoteric banking somehow. But the hallmarks that are stamped on Swiss bullion gold, like what's actually traded, the Swiss process is sort of an esoteric story in itself, depending on who you ask. There's different ways you'll hear about it. But if you follow the yellow brick road, there's a Nazi germination story to all of this unfolding about the Book of Numbers. And if you're familiar with the KJV and the Book of Numbers there, and what happened with numbers and IBM computers in Nazi Germany, we can see where there's a tie to how some of the best energy particles that were being sourced wound up in a bank with imprints on them, and where certain bio-identical data might actually exist in bodies that belong to people like you and me. And so what we're proving now is where the germs jumped out, and where the trees might actually tell stories, and why tarot, if you talk to a guy like me, is how to rat as a psyop, and what it means to find allegrezza al cuore, the happiness of the heart, the ability to walk away from something, because now we have a special way to see what data was actually there if someone was incepting, and what it is to find a friend that might be able to remove obstacles from your way. Maybe that's me, taking something out of your way so that you can see it better and more clearly. And I'm hearing if that's the case, what you came for today, it's going to be a real consolation, maybe a big one too, because Gran Consolazione is a person who is very, very, very relieved, especially, wow, if they just left a bad situation, because Disgrazia just fell out of the deck here. That is Bad situation right there. That's a house fire. So for some of y'all, man, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna shuffle these up because do we have Archangel Gabriel? Oh yeah, we're gonna do one of those here in a little bit with some love music. I'm just gonna shuffle these a little bit first, and before we do all that, I'm actually gonna pull us an oracle card. I just feel like I need to be shuffling these here a bit too. They just felt like they need some love from those of you here in the room. Thanks for being here. I'm hearing, take us to Jacob's house for a minute. Oh yeah, let's go to Jacob's house. No, we are mind crafting. Every time you see that, it's kind of like vaporwave, where your ideas are going through to these sounds because of the creation module and a very special supercomputer that I've been making that tracks hypersentient awareness out of this small studio that I'm recording this and shooting this live with you from. So thanks for being here and helping me with my hermetic experience in a very special scientific process. Alright, so we're going to come back to these. Especially if any of you all are trying to wonder what happened to this gal. I'm hearing somebody might have breezed in and out, and you might not have had a chance to get her name. Wow. La Donna di Servizio. She came with a white cloth. So. Yeah, I hear it was fortunate bumping into you too, girl. Somebody happy to meet you. All right. Jacob might be seeing something. I'll let you all know too if you're here. If you want a private reading with just your own private personal information, hit me up. Details are below. I can do them with just your information, and I'm kind of like a blood spatter analyst for weird psychic stuff. So if you have people's like date of birth, like some data, I can find some really detailed things for you. So if you have questions, hit me up. Got a detailed way to do it. All right, so before I even shuffled any of this and just pulled these out and just let you know, I shuffled extensively before I put them into the box. I always do. This is what was looking at me. I feel like this might be like a fortunate one just to look at because it's on a 4 too, which is like, hey, let's tune a fish and land on a fort. The fort will do. It's fortunate for you and it's stable. The number 4, and that's his acceptance there. Waxing Crescent 2, acceptance. Beautiful card. I'm hearing for some of you all, that might be part of why you're here. It's like acceptance in something that you knew you couldn't finish or start, but that happened to end on you, even if you didn't want it to, and how just holding open and holding sacred, like that level of energy, it allows other energy to flow through to you when you're just being open as a vessel. And we're actually praying a lot right now for sacred energies to remain safe because, like I mentioned, there's a lot of black energy, and I don't mean in a bad way. I mean black energy where people are in a creative mass right now that is available to us. A lot of people calling it a portal, just sticking their hand through and trying to pull things out and calling it law of attraction like they're entitled to it. And there are things that are actually being protected at the same time because some other people have prayers where it's like, can we just make it safe for the healing? And so it's learning what to do with that creative black matter because it's very, very significant, and there's a lot of magic that's happening, and sometimes people take black magic into these places, especially when they think there's portals and we're having to close off certain things together. So I'm hearing for a lot of you all, knowing acceptance is protected, especially if you're learning how to be open after you've accepted a certain loss. Maybe that's like letting go for you, and at the same time it's like receiving because something else gets filled at the same time. And so let's just know that there's healing energy on that. And yeah, let's see here. These cards came out Friday night. Chat, that's right. I brought these out last Friday. These are the Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. And I just wanted to thank those of you that have been supporting my channel. Really appreciate you. I was able to receive some of these new cards recently due to support from you all that have supported me. Thank you for that. Yes, that sounds about right with me right now. Okay, Angelique, glad to hear that, we've got at least some clarification here that's connecting some dots and confirming with you, and Zoe as well. All right, Resilience was just looking up at me, but I'm going to get us a fresh card together. Let's get us a fresh card on these energies. What do we need to know right now? It's going to help us with... Oh, there we go. Abundance. Okay, hey, all right. I like that. It's been a big let go for me, and I'm still letting go. I feel you, Zoe. Yes. Well, how about something new? What about some new energies? And, wow. Isn't that gorgeous? And how cool. That says Hunter Moon, Abundance. So this is actually a full moon card. This one's 38. We're not having the Hunter Moon tomorrow, but we are having a full moon tomorrow. Yeah, it's a gorgeous deck. Thanks, Angelique. Abundance sounds really good, doesn't it? Abundance sounds really good. This actually flew out, and so I'm hearing for some of y'all, this is like, a good way to focus your energies right now, especially if you've had a certain desire for other things to be abundant or to be coming more freely to you and more like effortlessly. Yes, bring on the new. Exactly. Let's see what else we can find out too, because I'm hearing, especially if you had a friend or somebody that you meet, because I'm hearing for some of you, they show up and they leave quickly. And that for some of you all, wow, if you needed to know, there's definitely a love connection there. Oops, let me show you where I got that. Taurus, let's have a look. So here's the friend that you're not sure if you're friends yet, but I'm going to tell you she's your friend. Somebody this La Donna di Servizio might be somebody you're just meeting throughout the day that is like friendly and helpful. They're not necessarily like, hi, I'm your friend, but sometimes they make the best friends. And I'm hearing that, look, this is what was on the bottom. Is this lover boy guy here, Lamonte. And so I'm hearing for some of you all, you might meet somebody in passing. And it's going to go well. And especially if they kind of like check out, but you're like, did I feel that? I'm hearing the answer is yes. I'm hearing the answer is definitely yes. Especially if they seem kind of like, I'm hearing they might be a little bit of a different kind of style dresser. It's like they might just kind of like have like a little thing that's a little different. And ooh, see this thing here? This just showed up for me. Some kind of lie. I'm hearing, well, there's another card sticking out. I'm hearing about this. You might find out something, especially if you didn't know that somebody was sick, is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing somebody might have been covering it up. And so they're telling you it wasn't like a serious lie, but it's like, might have been a cover up. I'm going to move these out of the way and watch out for fear. Fear was just looking up at me with that. So I'm hearing for any of you all, if that's happening right now, some of it is just so man-made, especially if you haven't had somebody in your life in a while and this is somebody new that you meet. I'm hearing it's like, if you just meet this guy and, you haven't had somebody in your life in a while, the weirdest part, especially if you find out that he's interested in you, is going to be you just freaking out about something going right and just like having some hang-ups about like, oh, maybe I'm too this, I'm too that, or he looks like this and so he's got that happening, and like jumping to weird conclusions. I'm hearing you might be really prone to that right now, especially if you meet somebody and it's almost like, I don't want to say it's like you hit it off, but it's like energetically you hit it off, and so you might just not notice it because of the way that just showed up. And then I just saw fear like peeking up at me. So just hearing you need that tip. Just keep that tip in mind in case it comes in handy. It might not, it can't be for everybody. But, if it happens, that might be a good way to look at it. Because sometimes you can make yourself a little bit crazy. You know what I mean? If you're not... used to things going right, and then suddenly something goes right. So it's like, go easy on yourself. Alright, so what do our babies need to know about? We gotta take a look here with the cards. And let me get us a different song here. The Art of Love musical tarot deck. Give us a song, a little help from Archangel Gabriel. What we got here? Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. Any Madonna fans? Yeah. Tonight it's Like a Prayer by Madonna. Where the baby didn't get cut open by the virgin birth mother. We didn't like being treated like a whore, perhaps. How about that? Yeah. Oh, I love this song too. Glad you like it too, Delicious Bites. Alright. Do a little dance and things go my way. Alright, me too. Little... Not a secret. I actually listen to this and clean the house. Alright, let's see what we got here. We've got... Oh my goodness. Look who showed up today. La Nemica. She might have resting bitch face, is what I heard. Nemica. It might be more than that for some of you too, because that's somebody that can be outright evil. She's there with a knife there. It's a dagger of some kind, and there's like an extra face in her hand. It's like a mask, but I'm hearing for some of you, you're like, no, she cut a bitch's whole face off there. She wants to take it there. And that she might be like somebody nasty in your life. Ooh. Let's see here, L'Allegrezza. That might be you trying to keep it light and trying to be nice, because L'Allegrezza it's a butterfly landing in gently on a flower there. And it knows about taking a light landing, especially if there's some serious news, especially about someone's passing. Because I'm hearing that might be really tacky. This person might be tacky. I'm hearing tacky bitch. Tacky bitch. It's like people are cheering. It's weird. But yeah, there's a light landing here with this being. It's a nice, elegant landing. What's a butterfly mean to you? Butterfly effect here. And the guy that turned his back there, L'Allegrezza, so he's busy. He's really busy. He might not look like it there. He might look a little like disgruntled, and he's disgruntled, but he's got a lot going on in his mind. Like under that hat there, that guy is mapping things. He's like mapping things out. He's kind of got like a Magellan mind. Everything is parcel packed a certain way. He might be a merchant marine, and whatever he did was like preparing for a new beginning that might not have happened or like shown its fruit or return. And so if he's there looking pissed off, it's for a reason. And so that might be why you're like figuring out how to settle the score with him and figuring out a gentle landing on some news there, especially if there's like 1, 2, 3 good reasons I'm hearing that might make him feel like he's going crazy over there in his mind. And for some of y'all, it's like, look, it's information time. This is coming to you. You need to know whatever you're waiting for is coming. It might be coming to your door. Messagere is a personal message, and sometimes that's the person that'll show up and like look you in the eyes and tell you what you need to know about that thing there. And what it means to be 1, 2, 3, because he thought it was 2. And I'm hearing it's like, no, baby, it's like 1, 2, 3, and you don't even know about that thing that he's carrying in his hand there. Oh, baby, I'll take you there. I'm hearing for somebody, this is like news, finding out about her being pregnant with twins, and it's like, oh my god, and like he's just freaking out because he didn't know, and maybe he was working overseas or some kind of distance was there for some of you. For somebody else, this is just like knowing that it's time for you to just have a new start for something. You might need some kind of mail to come in, especially if you have like maybe you need legal help, because I'm hearing if this person stole something from you, that you might be able to document something by people who are watching around and might have been able to document it. I'm hearing notary public and il pensiero. I've never really seen it that way, but I'm hearing that for somebody, there's some truth about a notary that might have been paid for a fraudulent thing to happen, and bad documents, and trying to be diplomatic about something that even if you didn't speak up and say it, I'm hearing for somebody here, it's going to be a big deal how it comes out, because somebody's going to say that they were being framed, and it's actually going to come out that they paid a notary and like scared them somehow into doing something. And I'm hearing they got told no to, and that when the notary turned around, they did it anyway, and there's like whiteout to prove it. I was hearing something like this last month, I think. So for some of you all, this might be a tail end of that. So many messages coming up when I pull these Sibillas. I will just look at this one here too, because it's looking at me and it was just sticking out a little bit. Yeah, consolente sorpresa. So I'm hearing for somebody, all right, if the one story about somebody trying to take advantage of somebody's, I'm hearing penmanship skills, but it's like something like their book or writing something in that shouldn't have gotten in on a deal. It's like you're going to be really happy to find out that it's like people that were around actually saw what they were doing somehow. And for somebody else, it's just going to be really exciting to find out what kind of news comes out, that you're going to have to take a whole other thought process on something that might have been held, you might not have been understanding about this person. If it was just resting bitch face with her, she might actually need to tell somebody that she has more babies coming, is what I'm hearing. And she just was holding her information back. They're saying she was holding her face back too, because that was resting bitch face, and if people like saw how bitchy she actually feels right now because of the hormones raging, it would be a whole other kind of like helter-skelter moment, is what I'm hearing. And really weird, crazy. Your guides are hilarious. It's so funny. I just want to look and see what's underneath her here to see what's going on. Yeah, Lenemica, for somebody, this is serious news. Okay, so this might be that resting bitch face thing, finding about information on the turnaround, because for somebody it's not pregnancy, it's just turnaround, it's the mail that you were waiting on. But for somebody else, it's like if this was the situation that you need help legal, I'm hearing seriously get some legal help, because she might have done something, taken something from you. There's this la lettera here, it's like a handwritten letter. I keep hearing it was like something that was written in somebody's book, and she might have done it when somebody's back was turned. I'm hearing it was like they felt like their hands were tied though. And so I never read La Legrezza al Cuore there, but I'm hearing that it was like somebody that got called out of the blue, and while they weren't looking, somebody wrote something in the book, and it might have just been like they might have had somebody over by even concocting some story. I'm hearing that it was like, oh my God, it's like his last will and testament, and like it needs to happen really fast, or like somebody making a really sad story to somebody, and when the guy shows up, or whoever showed up, I'm hearing that they either rubbed something out of the book or they did some kind of forgery, but it actually got witnessed, and those eyes actually turned them in because of how the fiber optic cameras are actually proving right now, since we have enough people whose eyes actually turned around for the solar awakening. So it's good stuff, and it's going to go well with this. And I'm really sorry if you lost your family member, because I'm hearing for somebody, it's like if this is your family member here, it's like they might have passed already, and it's something that's been going on for a while, and you might have been hung up in probate, is what I'm hearing, for like, I don't know, 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months. But whatever it is, my love and blessings are with you. I'm saying prayers about that, and hope that your family is doing okay. And yeah, I'm here for support. I definitely recommend too, if you haven't already done so, go ahead and change the view here so you can see it. You can join Very Fine Martians via FM radio. It's our live radio room. I do share oracles and some things privately that I only share with the small group, including the unhack that went in there today. And I do some more with other kinds of meditation. That one was just to plant the tea here in the room for those that are in my private circle to know that only what we created in this dynamic halo within that small meditation that pulls you into your dynamic lucid dream where you're opening up and your Akashic record that doesn't get bought and sold that way, that got clipped around. Things like that are in there, and that's the tea that works for that. The information is up here if you're interested in things like that. We do little sound hacks and share things together. And if I can actually do a personal reading for you with just your energy, feel free to hit me up. The information is here underneath me and also below. I would love to do that for you. If I don't hear from you, please take care, be safe. Make sure that you are hydrating more right now. You're going to need a lot more hydration, especially between now and tomorrow night's moon. It's a real good time to invest in some electrolytes if you don't have any, something, a little powder that you can put in your water, and just help make sure that you have something extra to stimulate your brain, because you are most likely creating and processing with an additional amount and dose of kinetic energy due to how much conjuring is going on all over this world, all over this planet that we are on. And I love you too, Duchess Bites. Thank you so much. And Zoe says, I seem to have a block to come over to Discord, but I want to. Up to you, darling. It's up to you. That's just where I'm sharing things. And so it's just private. Sometimes if I'm not feeling well or whatever, I let you guys know there. I don't actually even have enough people following me here on this YouTube channel to have a discussion tab to send you guys text messages. And so between Twitter, I mostly do things. I'll put messages there, sometimes on Facebook, on the Facebook page. But I prefer just putting it in the Discord chat because, you guys can even see my status. And so it's just a little bit closer setting. And it's up to you if you want to go in there or not. Feeling super creative, doing lots of fun art tonight. Amazing. Wonderful. I love that you're doing that, Duchess Bites. Just know that all your inspiration is being seeded in a really loving way, and that this full moon is really a lover's moon. A lot of people are just feeling the need to be in someone's arms right now, especially if it's someone that you miss. And so art is such an amazing way to be infusing with that energy, because it's how we co-create that. And so especially if you're missing somebody, or even if they're there with you, it's a way to actually plant some of that energy together. And like I said, it's kind of like witnessing those blood spatters that I can do on an energy particle level that aren't necessarily blood, but energy that's coming through in the halo grid. And what I explained to you today are the energies that are coming through to you that we have already now articulated also just in my biohalo. So by being here, it's like you're one of those gold bars that got stamped with the imprint or the energy grid that collects every particle that you create your art with, and it reflects it within the same particles that match within this resonance. So we're literally training the Kundalini shield with co-creative energy. So whatever you do actually helps with this infusion, and I thank you for that. All right, let's see here. I like Discord chat. Thanks, Angelique. Thanks for letting me know. It's so great to have you in there. And yeah, if you feel like it, Zoe, just only if you feel like it. It's just just a handful of us friends there, and we get together and stuff, and just say hey, and sometimes share photos and stuff. And yeah, check it out if you like Duchess Bites. It's we've got a little meditation. I've got an unhack in there that was just for private halo. So if you like, it's in there. All right, my darlings, I am going to sign off for the evening, and I'm going to drink this stuff. Anybody interested in a good drink, a little hot water and some apple cider vinegar. I put 6 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar and about that much hot water, and then like 2 big tablespoons of clover honey, and it's delicious. It's really, really good. It hits the spot. Very good for your GI tract right now too, and super helpful when you're going to bed, and it helps clean out your glands. So if you're doing any meditative work, especially if you're doing any of the private halo work with us here, the dimethyltryptamine access that you have in your body, it just begins to open up, so you have a more clear access point to how you produce your own DMT. So I would recommend that, especially right now. Yes, and Angelique says, I called my little sister today to let her know she needs to keep her energy clean, as well as informed her about things I felt to come. watch sometime. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're doing that. Very good that you're connecting with her on those levels. It's good to have somebody to partner up with. And yes, I'm going to go for the evening, guys. We'll catch you again soon, okay? Have a sweet night, loves.